The Dreadnought is one of the most iconic battle walkers from the Warhammer 40,000 universe. In this video we'll go over the basics to bring you up to speed with this most legendary of vehicles, their history and armaments, and I hope we do it justice. Make sure to subscribe for more lore videos in the grim, dark, far future. Imperial Space Marines are the Emperor's Angels of Death, each a mighty warrior capable of demolishing the most terrifying of opponents by himself. However, even they, despite their power armor and perfect tactical abilities, are not immune to the advanced technologies and horrific entities that exist in the universe, and from time to time, a Space Marine will be grievously injured. If they have not truly perished, however, and are considered great even among their peers, or so valuable that their chapter cannot afford to lose them, then their body will be recovered and interred within the sarcophagus of a Dreadnought, such that even in death, they can still serve. Dreadnoughts are therefore not simple mindless machines or robots following orders. They are a still living Space Marine given new form, the neurological interfaces of what remains of his body cybernetically interfaced with its hulking ceramite carapace. Its limbs become his, and he now perceives the world through artificial sensors, camera arrays, and neural linking systems. It is now both his life support system and his tomb, for if the Dreadnought is destroyed, then so will he be. Dreadnoughts did exist prior to the Horus Heresy in one form or another, and the original details of their creation and manufacture are not well understood. In the 41st millennium, the most common variant by far is the Castra Ferrum pattern, a compact and square design with its armour concentrated at the front. Mimicking the two limbs of a walking soldier, the Dreadnought will typically carry one heavy weapon, such as an assault cannon or multi-melter, while the other arm bears a Dreadnought power fist, alongside a smaller armament such as a storm bolter or heavy flamer. These weapons can of course be exchanged for other loadouts as required for each incursion, and their high degree of mobility and flexibility therefore makes Dreadnoughts an appealing choice in a range of circumstances, especially tightly packed settings such as hive cities and aboard space vessels. There are several key patterns to mention here. Assault Dreadnoughts forego any ranged weaponry in order to take two close combat weapons, making them a particular menace in close quarters. Ironclad Dreadnoughts take this notion to the extreme, with reinforced front plating and seismic hammers, or extremely large chain fists, meaning that should one of these walkers make it to the enemy's front line, that front line will rapidly find itself tumbling or torn apart with righteous fury. The Furioso Dreadnoughts deployed by the Blood Angels chapter and their successors similarly use specialised close combat weapons including blood fists and blood talons. Of course, there are circumstances in which it is more tactically appropriate to keep Dreadnoughts at a distance, effectively utilising them as walking turret platforms. So-called Hellfire Dreadnoughts eschew any close combat weapons at all, instead taking to the battlefield bearing two long-range armaments. These might include missile launchers, las cannons, or heavy bolters. Likewise, the Dark Angels often make use of the Mortis pattern Dreadnoughts, which take two sets of the exact same heavy weapon, one on each arm, ensuring that the Mortis can rain down merciless firepower on a distant target, even while moving at speed. Because Dreadnoughts are hallowed artifacts of a Space Marine chapter even unto themselves, it is considered the greatest honour and privilege for a Marine to be placed into one, and because this process can result in such soldiers accruing hundreds if not thousands of years of combat experience, the oldest Dreadnoughts within a chapter are referred to as Venerable Dreadnoughts, or Ancient Ones. These Ancient Ones are as much living embodiments of their chapter's history, traditions and service to the Emperor of mankind, just as they are fierce combatants, and given deep, unwavering respect as a result. The oldest such dreadnought still in active service, Bjorn the Fell-Handed of the Space Wolves chapter, was present at the time of the Horus Heresy, and fought in battle alongside their chapter's Primarch, Leman Russ. For all the extra time, energy and resources that the maintenance of these timeless and often archaic dreadnoughts costs their chapter, it would be unthinkable to even contemplate losing such wisdom and experience. For when battles are at their most hopeless, it is often these ancient ones that will be consulted for their guidance. The most recent development in dreadnought technology comes in the form of the Redemptor pattern, developed by Belisarius Cawl to accompany the new Primaris Marines into battle. They are taller, wider, and redesigned to allow faster movement for the pilot inside, and can handle more advanced weapon systems including the Onslaught Gatling Cannon and the Macroplasma Incinerator. This comes at a steep cost, however, as the demands of this pattern burn through their inhabitants much more readily than more aged and stable designs. It is clear that very few save the most monstrous creatures and heavily armoured warriors are capable of surviving an encounter with a Space Marine dreadnought. To fight alongside one is a matter of prestige for the average Astartes, but to become one, the greatest honour of all. For to be interred within the sacred sarcophagus of a dreadnought is to become a relic of the chapter, a bastion of hope against the coming darkness, and to stand resolute among the very finest of the Emperor's servants.